The Midnight Library Card. It was a cold, rainy evening in the small town of Brookpine, and 15-year-old Evan Price was walking home with his hood up, listening to the steady rhythm of raindrops hitting the pavement. As he passed the old Willow Street Bridge, something caught his eye. A small, dark blue card lying on the sidewalk. He bent down, picked it up, and wiped the rain off its surface. It looked like an old library card, worn around the edges, almost ancient. But what made Evan pause was the single sentence written on the front. Valid only after midnight. Evan frowned, looking around. No one was there. No footsteps. No sign that anyone had dropped it. Just the cold wind and the sound of rain. He slipped the card into his pocket, but for the rest of the evening, he couldn't stop thinking about it. That night, as the clock in his bedroom ticked toward midnight, Evan sat awake on his bed, staring at the mysterious card under the glow of his lamp. It felt heavier now, almost warm. When the digital clock finally switched to 12:01 a.m., Evan stood up, took a deep breath, and quietly left his house. Just 2 blocks away stood the old public library, abandoned for years after a strange fire no one fully understood. Its windows were dark, cracked, and dusty. Its doors chained shut. No one had gone inside since Evan was a little kid, but with the card in his hand, he felt pulled to it. When he reached the front doors, he hesitated for a moment. Then, he pressed the card against the lock. Instantly, the chains fell away with a metallic clatter. The lights inside flickered on, one by one, as if the building had awakened from a long sleep. And slowly, the doors opened. Evan stepped inside. The air was warm, filled with the smell of old paper and faint candlelight. But the strangest thing was the shelves. They were moving, shifting on their own, gliding across the floor like pieces on a giant board. Books whispered as he walked past, their pages rustling even though no wind was blowing. Some books glowed softly, like they were holding a pulse. Others opened by themselves, showing scenes instead of words, memories from other people's lives. Some memories looked like they were from the future, and a few didn't seem human at all. Evan stood frozen in awe. That's when a voice spoke behind him. "Good evening, Evan Price." He turned around quickly. An elderly man stood at the center of the room, wearing an old-fashioned suit. Evan had never seen him before. Not in town, not anywhere. The old man smiled kindly. "I am the librarian," he said. "Every midnight, this place opens for one visitor. Tonight, that visitor is you." Evan swallowed hard. How do you know my name?" The librarian didn't answer the question. Instead, he gestured toward the endless rows of floating, shifting books. "Tonight, you may borrow one book, but choose carefully, because every book changes something." Evan looked around again. There were books showing storms that hadn't happened yet, people he didn't know, and places he had never seen. But one book caught his eye. Its cover was dusty and dark, and written on the front in faded gold letters were the words, "The Life of Daniel Price." His father's name. Evan felt his breath catch. His father had gone missing 5 years earlier, vanished without a trace. No clues, no calls, just gone. With shaking hands, Evan opened the book. Inside were scenes from his father's life, moments Evan had never seen. His father laughing, traveling, reading bedtime stories to a younger Evan. But as he turned the pages, the memories changed. He saw the night his father disappeared. Not kidnapped, not running away. His father stood in front of this same library at midnight, holding a dark blue card, just like Evan's. In the memory, Daniel Price stepped through the library doors and vanished into a glowing hallway of books. Evan's hands trembled. He looked up at the librarian. "Where is he now? Is he still alive?" The librarian placed a hand gently on the book. "Your father made a choice," he said, "and choices in this library echo for a very long time." Evan's heart pounded. Can I Can I find him? The librarian smiled softly, sadly. That depends on the choice you make tonight. The shelves around them stopped moving. The library grew silent. Evan looked down at the book again, his father's memories glowing faintly under his fingertips. Whatever he chose next would change everything. Everything. And as the rain continued to fall outside, Evan knew one thing. This midnight visit was only the beginning.